Hey friends, it's Atika and welcome back to our YouTube channel, you all. As you can notice, it's just me today. Taylor is out with his guys and that is perfectly okay. You wanna know why? Because on Saturdays, Taylor and I have decided to make 5 to 10 minute, hopefully fully unedited video. It might have a few little tweaks here and there, but fully unedited video answering your all's questions on all the topics that you sent in over on my Instagram. Also, if you have any new topics that you want to send in, go ahead and send me a DM and I will respond and tell you thumbs up. We're gonna do it. As you all know, throughout my social media journey, I've always been so open and honest and vulnerable in regards to all things life, Christian, Jesus, all that jazz. And though Taylor and I super enjoy doing vlogs and, you know, our everyday data life stuff, we also wanted to make sure that this channel was edifying. And if you all notice in our intro, in the little circle, it says edifying entertainment. So we want to dedicate Saturdays to building you all up in your morals, values, beliefs, your spiritual lives with the Lord. So we are going to be answering different questions that you all have in regards to the faith. I think it's important to talk about specific things so that we can all know, hey, you're not alone. Hey, this is how I got through it. Or, hey, I'm currently dealing with that myself. I just love being able to be so open and honest and vulnerable with people. I don't believe that God takes us through things in life just for us to remain silent. I believe that our testimonies are just that, testimonies, testaments to God's faithfulness, God's presence, God's glory, God's everything. So I'm more than willing to discuss that. And by the topics that y'all sent in, y'all know that I am ready to discuss anything. So today's question is, how do I not settle and believe for God's best? Let's get right into it. I love this question so much, you all, because I used to settle so much in relationships. I really did. I was the queen of asking guys out. I was the queen of just being blunt and alpha female, all that stuff. I was just kind of like, I like you. Let's date. How are you feeling about it? You know, which in the end would, I think, make a lot of guys uncomfortable. At least the guys that I encountered, I think it made them a little uncomfortable that I was so forward. It's okay if I could go back in time and change a little bit of that, I would, but I had such a personality and I still have such a personality. So, well, that's that. But I really was. I think that honestly, I just idolized relationships. And I'm sure that you all have heard this term a lot in the Christian faith. Idolatry, idolizing, idols, things like that. Well, let me read to you all some scriptures that I found about idolatry. Exodus 20:3-6 says, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments." God says you should have no other idols before me. You should have no other gods, basically, than me. You should not. And I think that I really idolized relationships to the point where I was willing to settle. I feel like so many times, especially us Christian girls, maybe even Christian guys, actually, yes, Christian guys, because I've seen so many Christian guy thirst traps on my TikTok For You page. So I know you men out there are suffering too along with us. But I know that so many girls in the Christian faith really struggle with the thought of being single for the rest of their lives. I know that we struggle with that, y'all. I know that we struggle with just wanting that fairy tale Christian ending with the guy who opens our door and sweeps us off our feet. He has dates planned. Like, it's just, all planned out and it's all magical and it's all wonderful and it's fantastic and that's beautiful and that's totally okay for you to want that. However, it is not good to idolize relationships over Christ. It got to the point, you all, where I had to ask myself, am I okay with it just being me and Jesus for the rest of my life? I had to honestly sit myself down and ask that question. And let me tell you all, there were so many times in my life where I said no to that. Where I said, no, I am not okay if it's just me and Jesus. Why? Because I want kids, because I want a family, because I want to break generational cycles, because I want a man, because I want a companion, because I want love. There were so many times in my life where I had to be super honest with myself and I was like, no, I'm not okay with that. And in those moments where I was so vulnerable with God, telling him this, after that, I asked him, I said, God, help me to be okay with that. God, if you don't have someone for me, because a spouse is not promised to every single person. I'm sure you all know that. Jesus was single his entire life. Pretty sure Paul was single his entire life. There's so many people in the Bible who were single their entire lives and they did incredible things. Singleness is not a weakness, y'all. It is not a weakness at all. But you have to sit down and you have to ask yourself, am I okay with it just being me and Jesus for the rest of my life? Am I okay with it just being me and my Savior for the rest of my life? And so I asked God, I said, help me to be okay with that, God, if you don't have a spouse for me, because I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle at all, Lord. So help me be okay if I am single for the rest of my life, God, but help me do incredible things in my singleness. Help me to change the world in my singleness. Help me to break generational cycles in my singleness, God. Help me to change the lives of so many people in my singleness, God. Use me, equip me, guide me, teach me. I prayed this prayer to the Lord and I asked him, I begged him really, for him to allow me to be okay in my singleness. And it took months. Like, I remember I posted this TikTok about it. I might insert it if I can find it. But I posted this TikTok on the day that I knew that the Lord was like, okay, it's okay for you to date now. Because I took a break from it because I knew that I was idolizing it. I took a break from telling guys that I liked them. I took a break from like lingering on guys' TikTok pages and things like that. I took a break from all of that. I didn't entertain a relationship at all because I just wanted to focus on Jesus and I wanted to be okay with it just being me and him. And in order for me to practice that, in order for me to actually live that, I had to not entertain anything. And so I remember this day I posted this TikTok, but it was the day that the Lord was like, okay, you can date now if you want to, because I finally became content in my singleness. And I'm thankful that I did before I got married and before I started dating, because specifically before I started dating, I should say, not married, but I'm happy that I came to that conclusion and I got to that place before I started dating, because then heartbreak wasn't as heartbreaking anymore. The pain of breaking up with someone or someone telling me that they didn't like me, I didn't take offense to it anymore. I was okay with people telling me that because I was finally okay with the Lord just being like, you know what? If it's just me and you, it's just me and you. And I'm okay with that. So guys, don't settle. Don't settle at all. God's best for you is his absolute best for you. God is not going to give you a gift, the gift of marriage, or even the gift of courtship, because courtship is a gift in and of itself. But God is not going to give you that gift and it be his half best, or this is the best I've got in a spouse for you, so here you go. God is not going to give you that. When God gives you the gift of a relationship, the gift of courtship, the gift of marriage, it is beautiful and it is wonderful. That doesn't mean that it's not going to come with ups and downs and disagreements. We all know that two imperfect people, two sinners coming together to serve a perfect God, it's going to get messy sometimes. You're going to disagree. You're going to have to figure out communication. You're going to have to figure out love languages. You're going to have to figure out all that stuff. I know. But God is going to give it so beautifully to you. I see so many girls settling for less than what they deserve, and it pains me. It pains me. They settle for guys that treat them like crap. They settle for guys who send mixed signals, will lead them on, and then just drop them for another girl. I see it. And I see Christian girls doing it too, to Christian guys. Yo, that's not right. And that's not what God wants for you. A godly man, a godly woman is going to make their intentions clear. They're going to see you as a prize. They're going to be like, I don't want anyone else to win this prize, so I'm going to treat it so precious, so delicately, because that's how God treats you. That's exactly how God treats you. The way that God treats you is the way that the person that you're interested in should treat you. They should. So don't settle for less. There are plenty of people out there. I know that you've heard that so many times, but it's so true, you all. The enemy's trying to convince you that there's no one left in your town. The enemy's trying to convince you that you're never gonna find them at church. The enemy's trying to convince you of so many things to get you to settle. Don't do that. God has so much more in store for you. God's gift to you is pleasing, it's perfect, and it's good. When he gives gifts, oh, they're good gifts. So I want to encourage you all with that today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you share it with someone. Just click that little share button and let them know that you're thinking about them, that you're praying for them, and that you want the best for them. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up as well, as that helps us a lot.